It's that time of year again. The Super Bowl is just around the corner. And isn't it incredible to reflect on the fact that merely 4 years ago, the Kansas City Chiefs secured a victory against the San Francisco 49ers? And now we're here again with the Super Bowl 58 featuring a rematch between these two teams. Welcome back to Penn State Sports Night. I'm your host, Gianna Cutaia, and tonight we'll be diving into the insights of Chris Machado and Michael Landis regarding their thoughts on this exciting rematch. So guys, these two teams saw each other 4 years ago. The Chiefs came out on top. There's a lot of similarities, but differences in this rematch that we're going to see. Starting with the Chiefs offense, we're going to see Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. They are an unstoppable duo, especially when it comes to playoffs. It's incredible to see what they're able to do. I think the AFC Championship game was the perfect example of that. But then on the other side of the ball, we have the 49ers defense, and Nick Bosa is going to be hungry. He wants revenge. 4 years ago, it was in the fourth quarter. There was an offensive holding call that wasn't called and questionable. Could it have cost the game? Could it not have? So I know he's still angry about that, and we're going to see him coming out as hot as he can. But Chris, let's start with you. How do you think the Chiefs offense is going to match up against the 49ers defense?
Well, you want to mention Nick Bosa, but I think he's going to have a tough night because you know what? Let's talk about the big boys up front, right? Patrick Mahomes not being sacked at all these playoffs until meeting Baltimore, but of course Baltimore now averaging 3.5 sacks per game in the regular season. So, of course, with guys like Roquan Smith, Patrick Queen, Madubuike Owe coming for you all game long, it's eventually going to happen. But still, only 2 sacks on Mahomes, and I think the Kansas City O-line is going to be a tough test for the 49ers. Now, I also want to talk about Pacheco. I think this Super Bowl is going to be who can run the ball best gets that Lombardi. It's going to be a run-heavy game. We all know about, Pacheco and these angry runs, but the pass game right now for Kansas City still very top tier. Against Baltimore, on the right, Rashid Rice was targeted 9 times, caught for 8. And Mike, I know you know this, Kelce targeted 11 times. And how many times did he catch the ball?
11.
All 11. These two guys right now, you want to talk about MLB pitchers having substances on their hands? Right now, check these two guys' gloves for glue because they are absolutely phenomenal. And on top of Kelce catching all 11, 116 yards against a solid Baltimore defense. Can't wait to see what they're going to do against San Fran.
Yeah, Chris, I mean, absolutely. The Chiefs offense has amazing playmakers. Kelce always turns up in the playoffs. But I'm going to swing it first over to the 49ers defense, who I believe, no matter what NFL team you are, these are the last 2 guys that you want to see on the other side of the line. Fred Warner and Nick Bosa have led this team all the way to the Super Bowl. While their defense hasn't been the most astounding, these guys have made sure that they would make it all the way. Nick Bosa, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss in both games combined. Fred Warner leading the team in total tackles with 20 and 2 tackles for loss. I mean, their defense hasn't been the best. I think this is one of the issues that they had against Detroit last week. We gave up 24 first half points. I think that's going to be an issue going forward. You're not going to be able to do that against the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. It's no knock on the Lions or Packers. Now, I know these are 2 up-and-coming teams, but the Chiefs are a very experienced team. You know that Mahomes and Kelce have been in this situation before. I just think that they have to lock in a little bit more. But now going over to the Chiefs side of the ball, for them, all they got to do is keep getting it to Kelce. Nobody can stop him. It doesn't matter if they put a man on him because nobody can guard him. He can go up the field. He could drop down. He can go in for screens. And just like you were saying before, Chris, with Isaiah Pacheco, you do not want to get that man angry because he will run through a brick wall and he will dominate.
I think it's going to be a tough battle between the Chiefs offense and the 49ers defense. But now let's go to the other side of the ball, the 49ers offense and the Chiefs defense. The 49ers offense, this is where the difference comes into play from 4 years ago. Completely brand new offense facing the Chiefs defense. It's Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey's first ever Super Bowl appearance. So they aren't going to be as experienced as the Chiefs defense, where it is their third Super Bowl appearance in the last 4 years. So obviously experience is going to play a huge role into this. So Michael, let's start with you. How do you think this is going to match up?
Yeah, Gianna, I think you just said it perfectly well. I think that's the big key here is that the Chiefs defense He's very experienced. I think they've been underrated all year. Obviously, everybody wants to keep the attention around Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce on that offense, but that defense deserves way more credit than they get. Chris Jones, all-pro for the second straight year in a row. Trent McDuffie gets the first nod for the first slot cornerback all-pro position this year. And even L'Jarius Sneed, who actually could have been considered an all-pro snub, who had 14 passes defended and 2 interceptions in the regular season. This team overall in defense can do it all through the run game, through the air. And I think that if they're able to keep up what they've done so far, only giving up 13.6 points per game so far in the playoffs, they will be able to handle this Niners offense. But then going over to the other side, this Niners offense is absolutely stacked. We talked about it. McCaffrey, you got Deebo Samuel, you got Brandon Ayuk, you got George Kittle. All those guys can be difference makers and playmakers. They can set up through the screen game. They can go all the way downfield. I think for the Chiefs defense, the biggest thing is wrapping up tackles, because you know that if Deebo Samuel breaks that first tackle, he's going long for a huge touchdown.
Yeah, and for myself, you mentioned one of the guys that I want to bring up, Trent McDuffie for the KC. You know, they can use him at cornerback. They can even put this guy really at strong safety, free safety, wherever they want. He's going to make plays. Didn't show a lot against Baltimore, but against Buffalo, this guy was locked down. So Purdy's really going to have to keep an eye with who McDuffie is on, because yes, they have Kittle, they have Ayuk, they have Deebo Samuel. If these guys aren't household names by now, then I don't know what is. But can KC's defense stop that man, Mr. CMC, Christian McCaffrey? He was leading, the MVP race for a long time, and then, Lamar Jackson came into play, probably not now after that performance. So in my mind right now, CMC is leading once again. He had 17 carries against Green Bay, 20 against Detroit, and in this Super Bowl, I already mentioned it was going to be run heavy in my opinion. Right now, I think he's going to have somewhere around the same amount of carries, if not more. So you want to talk about Pacheco having angry runs? Watch out for McCaffrey, because I think he's going to blow past all of those Chiefs.
Mm-hmm. Those are both really good points. And now to just quickly finish up, who do you think is going to win score predictions and MVP? Personally, I think the Chiefs are going to take it away, and Patrick Mahomes is going to win Super Bowl MVP for the 3rd time in a row.
Well, for me, I'm going to be rooting for the 49ers, but honestly, I think the Chiefs are going to be able to pull this one out. Going into half, I see this one being close, like a 17-14. Maybe KC gets a last-second field goal, but when they come back, I'm calling this game at the end 34-21 in favor of Kansas City. I think right coming out of halftime, KC is going to blow them away, and Pacheco is going to be my MVP because, like I said, this comes down to the running backs.
Yeah, I mean, guys, I hate to be that guy, but I also got to pick the Kansas City Chiefs. And it's just this entire playoff series, I've gone against Mahomes the last 2 games, against the Bills and against the Ravens. And it took me until now to realize you never bet against Patrick Mahomes, and it's for a reason. There was all this social media drama. I know people hated all the Taylor Swift coverage. It was a distraction, they said to everybody. It doesn't matter, though. This is football, and right now they're in the Super Bowl. The Chiefs are only thinking about winning, and that is the biggest thing right now. Patrick Mahomes is on the biggest stage. He's done it before. He's going to do it again. He's going to win Super Bowl MVP once again, and I think the Chiefs are going to win 27-24.
Looks like we all have the Chiefs winning, and we will have to wait and see on Sunday who takes home the Super Bowl 58 championship trophy. For Chris Machado and Michael Landis, I'm Gianna Cutaia. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful night.
Hey everybody, thanks for tuning into this edition of Penn State Sports Night.
For more content like this, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, give us a like, and follow our socials down below.
And as always, we are
Penn State Sports Night.